All right, so it's a rough time to be living on the streets of Johannesburg at the moment. We were just talking about the changes of power from Eskom over to city power. That's causing chaos with the electricity. And of course, we know how bad the water situation is. And some residents have been battling shortages to no water for months now. Joburg Metro Council has approved a motion to conduct research on alternative water resources. Essentially, it's to decrease the reliance on Johannesburg Water, because remember, we've all heard the comments that Joburg residents are using too much water. Is that really the problem? Professor Anthony Turton, water expert, joining us this morning. Hello, Prof. Good to have you with us. I mean, does this make any sense whatsoever, conducting research into alternative water? Because I was hearing comments around finding underground water, putting wells in place, all kinds of other very technical terms. Could that be the way to go? Morning.
Good morning to you and the listeners. The simple reality is that Johannesburg is the financial capital of Africa, you can say, certainly the financial capital of South Africa. It is extremely well known. The underlying hydrogeology and the hydrology of the city is probably one of the best known things in the country. So the very way that this has been suggested or worded tells me that the leadership has got absolutely no clue, because in their mind, quite obviously, they think there's a water shortage problem. So there's not enough water in their mind. And that, of course, is a misdiagnosis. I get back to what I've been saying a lot lately. We have misdiagnosed problems, which we apply inappropriate solutions. So in this context, we all know what the problem is. The problem is failing infrastructure in the city, under the management of the city, and yet now we go and kick the ball down the road and we create some kind of shiny moving object and say, oh, we'll do some more research to find an alternative supply. I can promise you that this has defied the best collective brains of the South African engineering community for the last 120 years. They've looked at every conceivable possible option. So there's just no alternative option that a mayor can conceivably think of. But this research will take 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. But what about the here and now? What about the plan to stop the 50% water that's being lost? What about the plan here and now to start prioritizing and to start doing damage control? And this, of course, is what is missing. So I would argue that what the mayor said, or what the leadership has said here, is manifestation that they are not in control. They do not actually understand the problem, and therefore the likelihood of self-correction under these circumstances is almost zero.
Because essentially what would happen in a case like this, because many people, Prof, obviously agree with your assessment that it's not a water shortage issue, it's a water storage, it's a water maintenance, it's a water infrastructure problem. By going to find more water is not going to help us. We're just going to keep losing all this water. Should the research not go into rather all this money, I'm sure it's going to get wasted, shouldn't the research rather go into how to fix the infrastructure?
The Water Research Commission was created as a direct result of a commission of inquiry into water matters that was initiated in the 1960s. And the purpose of the Water Research Commission was to determine, with a high level of credibility, all available technological solutions and options available. So in other words, we've already got that body of knowledge. We've paid for it with our taxes. We are world leaders in that space. So now to go and suddenly try and replicate this with some ham-fisted kind of idea, oh, we're going to drill a borehole or dig wells. Well, the underlying geology in Johannesburg is not conducive to wells. It's not conducive to boreholes, because it's a gold-bearing reef ore body. It's acidic in nature. If you do get water there, it's in all likelihood going to be acidic mine water with dissolved uranium in it. That's in all the statistical probabilities. That's what you're going to get. So in other words, it's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous, and it shows the disconnect between the leadership and the real world. And this is extremely frustrating for professionals, because the professional community knows what they're talking about. They're still regarded by international people as being credible and up there amongst the best of the world. So we've got to get real, and I'm frankly disgusted by this whole thing.
How quickly could these professional bodies and these experts, Prof, that I'm sure you're in constant contact with, how would they fix this, apart from removing those in charge, tell them to get out the way of the problem, let them fix it, what would you do, and how long do you think it would take if you were given all that leeway and that movement and the money to do what you do best?
Yeah, in a perfect world, what I would do is I would rearrange the board of Johannesburg Water, and I would prioritize at board level the whole thing about asset management. What are the assets under management? Where's the asset register? Is there a single asset register that shows all the assets under their management? Because as part of that asset register, you'll know where the pipes are, where the pumps are, and where all the bits and pieces that make this thing work, where they all are. Then you'll also know on that same asset register what the remaining useful life of each asset is. And I would then prioritize at board level an emergency prioritization. So fix what needs to be fixed in the immediate short term. And then once you've stabilized the situation, start doing medium to long-term planning. What needs to be upgraded? Where can we extend the remaining useful life by interventions of some sort or other? What are the costs and benefits of each of these alternative solutions? These are the things that the board should be doing, and because they have to then make those decisions and then resource those decisions with the necessary finances and human capacity, and then start implementing that down the line. It's not a question of suddenly coming up with an idea of, oh, well, let's do some research on drilling boreholes or finding alternative supplies. We found the supplies. They're in Lesotho. We found the supplies. They're in the Tugela River Basin. We had to build a pipeline and over the Drakensberg Mountain. That has been done. All of that's been done. None of these are new ideas. We're simply rehashing old ideas now. So bottom line is stabilize it by getting a credible board with the technical knowledge needed to understand an asset register and to prioritize from that asset register the critical areas that need to be replaced, and then the critical things that can be done to still extend the useful life of the infrastructure. It's not really rocket science.
It's certainly not, Prof, and I'm going to say thank you very much indeed for your time, joining us all the way over in Perth as well. So quite a big time difference between us. Prof, thank you very much for making the time in joining us. Anthony Turton.